Episode 5 of History, Mystery, and the Bound Imagination. Over time, research through the highly valued formulation and gathering of statistics and numerical data has become greatly limited by its focus strictly on end results instead of journey and process. Living is tough without certainty. Meaning and performance often depend on statistics as a matter of record, a form of importance to history. Consistency, courage, success, failure, dedication, discipline, victory, character, and defeat. People see themselves and connect with statistics. Statistics, however, can also just as easily represent the miscalculation of a person's value and worth as they miss the mystery beneath the surface that lies in the instant mindset to focus on purely end results, large numerical values. Because counting sometimes is the easiest way of doing things, how often isn't new knowledge being ignored because of the number abuse that comes from the unwillingness to rethink anything? The mediocrity mindset to simply accept knowledge, tradition, and traditions, programs, protocol and protocols, all because protecting them is easier and nothing more than a safe, passive mindset to minimize embarrassment is when theory breaks down to real life. Theory is fantasy. This is fantasy land. This is like Beauty and the Beast. This is like Cinderella. This is like Snow White. Because it acts to squeeze stories into formulas and lacks the imagination and faith needed to weave and mesh facts into wisdom. We can challenge conventional thinking and the meaning of statistics by focusing on relevant issues and forming new alternatives to avoid facing self-destruction and unacceptable consequences. We are capable of doing great things in spite of history, ourselves, old habits, old technologies, and their predictable consequences. Knowledge and thought is unquestionably true to people in a certain time period and era, in a certain culture and form, a certain part of the world. It's what we know for sure that just is not true. Connection and community helps us rethink everything and hear ideas never thought about. Every point of view is a view from a point and creates a wide variety of viewpoints which forces you to find a common point. Knowing is not an individual matter, but a group experience, as the groups we were born into or join will have a strong influence on our thoughts, actions, lifestyles, and habits. What we know or what we think we know. Should we really take ourselves too seriously? If our perspectives are biased towards the groups we belong to, if our understanding is limited to our context, world, or the shades in which we view the world, if our view is valid only from our subjective standpoint, then we are untrustworthy and subjective in knowledge and judgment, and none of us can presume to have much authority. I'm not going to be intimidated by you and your claims to know the truth, nor am I going to expect you to be intimidated by me. Both of us had better be suspicious of any who try to force us to believe something just because they say so. The future in which we live, our lives, provides a small window of opportunity in the present. Mystery, in closing, mystery is a beautiful thing and should be embraced as such. If having the answer was the important part of the question, we'd never step on the field and compete in contests. We'd simply award a winner as to determine a victor. This, of course, is not the way in which we compete. We determine winners and losers alike while giving each simple ample opportunity to stake a claim to victory. Limiting an athlete places a ceiling on their potential. But if interwoven into training programs and rehabilitation is greater character and creativity, there lies an offering and opportunity for success. Too often, those of us in leadership positions in the rehabilitation and strength and conditioning world and society need to push our humility past our pride and selfishness by accepting both thoughts and ideas from external sources, realizing that self-growth must come prior to expectations of leading or teaching another is imperative. By taking ownership in ourselves and our level of health and conditioning, we can be a living, breathing example of a good, clean, fun life. Whatever we do, someone may be watching, and that leadership can only be by example. Who wants to get better, and who wants to be a part of the epic movement revolution, which entails us maximizing our genetic potential, which is built on truths? History, mystery, and the bound imagination. It is time that we break the barricades and the binding restrictions and the change of traditionalism.